Online to the need to know, the who to know, and the how the hell do we do it all. Now, here are your hosts, Lisa Lidvag and Angela Sandler.
Hello, St. Louis.
Good morning.
Woo-hoo. Breaking the weather.
Oh my gosh. Where did that come from last night?
You guys, seriously, I just got back from Oklahoma. It was like 150 degrees there.
Oh my God.
Humid, ridiculously hot. And we got back last night. I get up this morning and I'm like really ready for heat. Like I'm dressed for heat. I'm ready to go for heat. I walk out the door and I'm like, oh, Missouri, how I love you.
Uh-huh.
You really I needed it too. It treated me this morning. I went outside. I had my coffee, threw the ball for the dogs a few times, looked at the chickens next door. I mean, it was glorious.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Beautiful, beautiful day.
Yes, it is a beautiful day here.
We're so lucky.
I know. It's like finally some hope as well. I feel like it's the change of the force of nature and getting ready for fall.
Yeah.
And kids are back in school. And
are your kids back?
My kids are back. They went back on Monday.
How did that go?
It went great.
Yeah.
They're in the same school, which is the first time that's happened since like, I don't know, when they were like kindergarten and third grade.
Oh my gosh. And is your daughter driving?
Yes.
Okay.
So they leave together every morning, and it's been really cute because a lot of her friends have welcomed him to the high school and are saying hi in the hallways, and like it's nice.
Okay, that kind of makes my heart so happy.
It's really cute.
It's
awesome. Really, really cute.
It's a good stage of your life.
It is. I know. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. I feel like for me, when my kids started driving, it was like a game changer.
Absolutely.
Like your whole life changed. It made it so much easier. As much as it was a worry, like, don't get me wrong, I still worried about them. But it just changed everything. It made it so nice.
Grant told me last night when I brought him home from football practice, he's like, Mom, or can we start practicing driving? And I'm like, you still got a while to your permit. And he's like, well, I want to know exactly what I'm doing when I get my permit so that it's easy. And I'm like, he complained with that.
No. And the sooner he's interested, take him out in a parking lot.
I know.
Let him just go.
And that's kind of, and it's also the second child thing. Because I was like, I would never do that. I would never put a child before the, before the wheel of a car until they have their permit. And then now I'm like, sure, we'll do it this weekend. We'll just swing around the block. No big deal.
You start to care less about all those little things anymore. It just is a game changer. So
you just kind of realize that all that stuff is not as intense as you thought it was.
And it goes by fast.
It does go by fast. It goes by really fast. Well, speaking of fall, we have an incredible, iconic St. Louis fall weather. Well, actually every season. I mean, this guest really kind of embodies every season. Her family embodies every season, but I'm going to let you introduce her.
Absolutely.
Angela.
We are so excited today to have Angie Eckert here from Eckert's, which I'm sure everyone in St. Louis knows about and has heard about. But what's really great about Eckert's is not only do they offer the apple picking and the peach picking and everything, but they've really turned the corner and are really being pretty revolutionary and evolutionary about the new offerings they're offering. So we're really excited to learn more about what's happening at Eckert's, what you can expect this fall, and also just to dig into the details of being a mom and having 2 kids yourself, living on your family farm, what it's like to be involved.
My dream.
And learning how to balance multiple farms across multiple states.
Well, in a legacy business.
Correct.
Let's not lose that sight that, Angie is really carrying the torch for her family into this next place.
Next generation. That's what it's all about for us.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
You.
And I'm so curious. I have so many questions.
Well, and it's 7 generations, right?
Well, we now have 3 members of the 8th generation that are in their mid-20s, early 30s, working in the business, which is really the lifeblood of this company, getting the next generation in. Mm-hmm. We at our max have 500 employees. So obviously we're beyond family, but family's at our core. So
that's
well,
amazing.
and you serve families. And that's what I think is so interesting. It's like, not only are you a family-owned business, but you serve families. And, I think Angela can probably, has the same stories I do of going apple picking with my kid. I mean, those are my favorite pictures of us apple picking. and we would go every year, and we would grab a bunch of people, a bunch of friends, and we'd all go out together and ride. I mean, it's just like your business is built to serve family, and not to mention your gift shop and your grocery, which I'm obsessed with everything that you carry, literally, because you can't find it anywhere else.
Well, and that's really Angie's specialty. That's what she focuses on. So.
Yeah, my focus is in retail. We do kind of different family members oversee different areas of the business, which is great because we believe in kind of collective groupthink, but then you kind of individually manage your area and make decisions on the go based on that. But
that's awesome.
Thanks. I'm glad to hear that. And yes, we do not take it lightly that we're part of a lot of really important traditions for families. We had a training session yesterday, and we're talking about a lot of the details of the business. But my husband said at the end, like, don't forget to stop and look around and see how many families you're making happy by working here. So, and it is true. It's really like, it gives me goosebumps as I say it, because I don't take that lightly, that we're part of a special day for a lot of people.
There's special multiple days, it's strawberries, it's apples, it's peaches, it's whatever the season is. Pumpkins.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. My favorite picture literally is of my kid in one of your fields carrying the biggest pumpkin he could find. That was his goal. I'm going to find the biggest pumpkin that I can find. And he must have been like 7 or 8. So
love that.
So cute. Yeah.
It really are. You're integral into people's memories of their family experiences. And that's special. And that's just kudos to you guys, because you've done a great job for years doing it. And, it's a really special thing.
Thank you.
Did you always know that you were going to be in the family business? Was it assumed from your?
So
maybe take us back.
I'll take you back a little bit.
Take us back to the history of Eckert's, because that's what I'm most curious about.
Absolutely. Well, so I met Chris Eckert in high school, and we had like a lot of classes together starting our freshman year. And I was looking for a job, and my mom was like, you should go out to Eckert's and, get a job for the fall. That would be a nice place to work, which is what a lot of families say to us. They want their child to have their first working experience at Eckert's because of our culture, and it's a fun place to work. We're not open super late, all those things. So I told her, I was like, I am not working for Chris Eckert. And she's like, you will not work for him. You're going to work for his mom. And I did. I was hired by Chris's mom, and I worked for his sister Jill in the bakery. So I started at Eckert's, I'm pretty sure I was 14.
Oh my gosh.
And then it wasn't really my intent to work there or necessarily marry Chris Eckert. But it just sort of evolved. But that was always my comeback summer job in the bakery. And then we both ended up dating in high school, went to U of I, pursued agriculture degrees. My intent was to work more in public, like the Missouri Botanical Garden, which is where I worked for a while. But then there was this opportunity to expand our Millstop farm into more of this experience-based farm. And so I quit my jobs and went to work alongside Chris, and we built that together. And then it just kind of, we're always evolving as a business. We have to change to kind of keep up with what people are interested in.
Right.
And so then his mom retired. I took over retail. So things just kind of, I don't know, snowballed, evolved, whatever. But it really was fun to work along my spouse. And then his sisters came back into the business.
That's awesome.
And we have a best friend from high school who's our CFO. And so, that was our family to start along with Chris's parents and a cousin that were still in the business. And so then now it's our niece and nephew, and our kids work part-time while going to school and stuff. So at our max, we might have around 17 family members.
That's pretty awesome.
Including the seasonal people. But
that's pretty awesome. What year did Eckert start? And it's probably on your box that I'm not
so the family, we kind of date back to 1837. It's when the original orchards were planted just south of our current main retail location. And then the Belleville Lake location came into the family through marriage in the late 1800s. So at the time, like if you were a farmer, when your children married, you would give them property and they would start their own farm. So that's kind of how the Eckerts obtained that piece of property along Greenmount Road and Highway 15, which we call our home place farm. That's our year-round location. And then we have, as you mentioned, the 3 other locations that are seasonal. One that's just 20 minutes away in Millstadt, one that's about an hour from Belleville and Grafton, and then one outside of Lexington, Kentucky, and Woodford County.
No way.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Okay. That's pretty cool.
My advice is don't go to Woodford County because you just want to buy something there.
Oh my gosh.
So beautiful.
Right.
We actually met a friend who was retiring. It was an operating orchard. They wanted to retire. And so we purchased the farm from them. And it is just lovely. It's in bourbon country. So
when
everything.
was that?
That was about 8 years ago.
Oh my gosh. I see. I would be living there right now.
It's so pretty.
It's so gorgeous there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and
it
fun.
just has everything.
I mean, people are similar. They're family centered. You know, it kind of felt, although it is different than Metro St. Louis, it kind of still has that comfort of strong family values. And all of that.
That's awesome.
So incredible.
How often do you get down there?
So I'm probably down there 5 times a year, but somebody from Eckert's is down there, I would say, every other week. And then we have some people that were kind of trained at Belleville and have, helped down there. So it's kind of a revolving door. We do have a house on the farm, so we can stay there and stop in and, stay overnight and help the team down there. We have an awesome manager there, Megan, who does a phenomenal job. So that makes it all possible to have somebody who's, kind of wants to run the business like you want it done, and takes a lot of pride, is connected in the community. All that's really important because we're such an authentic brand. We don't want to fake that stuff.
Yeah. No.
So she's been a really key piece to it all.
That's awesome. Well, and it's, really kind of, again, replicating what you have here in St. Louis or in the metro area, because it's not in St. Louis. I don't want to say that you are St. Louis.
No, we call it Metro. I mean, we very much consider ourselves part of St. Louis, whether St. Louis will have us or not. I don't know.
No, absolutely.
But we do. Anytime we're traveling, we just say we're from St. Louis because that's kind of what our home base is, and we kind of see the area as local to us,
right?
Absolutely,
Metro, right?
Yeah.
Well, and being able to replicate the authenticity and the spirit and culture that you have here, I'm sure it's such a personal thing for you guys. So kudos for finding that space in another state. That's pretty awesome.
It's fun to explore a different area too. Just enjoy that. So.
Absolutely.
Do you have aspirations to get in the spirit business?
In the spirit business?
In the bourbon,
like bourbon and stuff?
Yeah.
No, I think we're going to hold with the hard cider. That has been just a really awesome endeavor for us. We have our winery license, which is what you need to produce hard cider, because it's basically the same process as you would make wine, but instead of using grape juice, you're using apple juice.
Okay.
And then you ferment it. And the only other thing that's not wine is you add carbonation.
Right.
Okay. So we do that at our Belleville farm, and we're able to distribute that to our Illinois locations. We don't have our liquor license in Kentucky yet. But that has been so awesome because it allows us to use some apples that were imperfect and therefore not saleable in the, the traditional means, but we can use those to press into juice. And so we're making a non-alcoholic sweet cider and then also the hard cider, and using a product that maybe wouldn't have been utilized. Right. So we're proud of that.
Sustainability.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Yeah. I don't see us getting into spirits as a different license. Also, but we do talk about apple brandy. So I don't know, maybe someday. And we are putting some hard cider in bourbon barrels. So it'll hopefully pick up. This is so new to us. We don't really know how long it needs to age and all that kind of stuff. But we're experimenting right now with some hard cider in these barrels.
I bet that's going to be incredible.
So that'll be good.
Oh my gosh.
And the hard cider you can get at Eckert's. So you can you talk a little bit about the cider shed and kind of how that's set up, and that's a newer thing as well.
So that is going into its 3rd year basically. So you guys mentioned you come to Eckert's when your kids are little, and that was like hard for us. Like everybody comes when their kids are little and then they stop coming. So we were trying to figure out like, what can we do that would bring the younger people in their 20s that maybe are waiting to have kids. I call them the pupsters. They're like the 20-something couple with a dog. Yeah. How do we attract the pupsters? And how do we attract the empty nesters? Because we don't want you to age out of Eckert's. We want you to like keep coming. We want to be your farm. We are your local grower. So we kind of came up with this concept of the cider shed, where we would have experiences around hard cider and music, which our family loves. Music, we are especially interested in original music, but we're finding that people love cover bands. So we do have a lot of those like bands that kind of dress up. Like this Friday, we have Coldplay kind of themed band and stuff like that. So not the real Coldplay, but you know what I mean? Tribute bands. Yeah. So it's kind of fun to experiment with the types of bands because they attract different ages of audiences. So we're learning that. And then people can come out and have some food and snacks. It's a different menu than our traditional restaurant, which is more fried chicken, home cooking. This is a little more like shareables, fun, trendier food. And then we have like over 12 ciders on tap. So you can taste them to see what you like, or you can order the plow, which is 12 different ciders on this big long board. It's super fun to share with friends. So we're trying to just be a place dog friendly. It's outdoors, fresh air. It'll be perfect on a day like today.
Oh my gosh, right?
But even when it's hot, we have these huge fans and it's comfortable under there as well.
So it's an actual like pavilion that you have out in the middle of the field?
It's a big pavilion between the restaurant and the country store.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we can seat up like last weekend we had a sold out crowd. We had about 500 people. So
do you charge people to come in?
Yeah, it depends on the concert. A lot of them are free. Yeah. Some of the bigger ones, like the tribute bands and stuff, might have a $10.
Yeah.
I think 20 is the highest we've had. So
are kids allowed?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a couple like dueling piano. Yeah. We do put on there, 21 and older.
Yeah.
But I would say 98% of them are family friendly.
That's
awesome. And really cool. We hear from some of the bands that like they're so happy to play at Eckert's where they can bring kids to hear them, because a lot of them are in bars and it's late.
Yeah.
So they're always like, oh my gosh, like this band, Haha Tonka, they're always like, oh, this is our favorite night because we can play a little earlier, have like
our family can
on
come,
a farm and something like that versus a bar. So
that's nice.
I love that.
We enjoy being a host site for some of those musicians as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. That's a really cool option.
And you just keep reinventing and reimagining.
Keep trying.
No, but and we're going to get into talking a little bit too about, or I guess we do have time right now.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and lead into that.
Let's go.
So you've got a big new attraction that's opening soon, and it really caters to really the pupsters.
Yeah,
correct.
I think families too will enjoy it. So this is very new and we're super excited that tickets will go on sale very soon. I think it's September 8th, but you can go to jackslightedtrail.com right now and kind of see images of what it's going to look like. But this is a walking trail at the Belleville Farm. So you'll take a wagon out to a trail that's a half a mile loop, and it'll be lighted Halloween scenes. Some of them will be kind of like iconic Halloween things, Day of the Dead scene, few of your favorite Frankenstein and witch people and things like that. It will not be like super scary. So it's not like haunted house scary. But there'll be original art, which we're excited to work with a company that hires artists that carve these graphics into. They look like real pumpkins, but it is like a resin product. And so I'm excited about the artistic piece of it, that it's like original art, unique to Eckert's. This is not like an instant package. We've been working for 6 months with a team of artists and, sharing ideas back and forth.
That's so cool.
So I can't wait to see it because, we've seen all these drawings and graphics of it. And I can't wait to see if it what it actually looks like in person. But so a team will come from the company that's creating the art for us and help us install it. And then it'll be lit scenes. There'll be some fog and stuff like that. And
so describe the experience. So you walk in and it's self-guided, or do you have a tour guide, or how does that work?
Experience will start like basically if people are familiar with our Belleville location where you go for pick your own, it'll start there. There'll be kind of like a little party zone before they call your time because the tickets are sold by the half hour.
Got it.
So, and this is all hypothetical because we've never done this before, but we're thinking that we'll just announce like 7:00 boarding and then you'll get in your little line, but you'll have the opportunity to buy a beverage, maybe some glow merch before you get on the wagon, and then take, it's basically maybe a 10-minute ride out to the field. You'll get off the wagon, and then the trailhead there'll be a bar out there as well. We're calling it the Spookeasy because it's a little hidden, a little spooky.
Love that.
So the Spookeasy, or you can just hop in line, and then it's a self-guided walking trail,
Okay.
half a mile. And then when you come out, there'll be an area to board the wagons to come back. And there's a little bitty corn maze in the middle too, in case you want to get a drink on the back of the bar and the kids want to go through that while you're in line for your drink or whatever. So we kind of have a little parent detour area.
Yeah,
love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are the hours?
So they vary because, the sun is setting earlier in September. So I think the first tickets out on in the September nights are going to be around 7.
Okay.
And then it'll back up as the sun is setting. And then you book them by the half hour. We're not going to be super tight if you're 5 minutes late. It's not a big deal. But that's the idea.
You're not going to send the search party in for me if I get lost.
And then I think the last time is like 9 or 9:30.
Okay. So what can you do before and after?
Oh, so you could come early and pick apples or pumpkins, which I think some people want to do.
Yeah.
And then that will close, and it'll be kind of like a half-hour break, and then we'll start the Jack Slided Trail experience.
Okay. Love that.
But of course, our cider shed, the food is awesome there. Brisket nachos all the way. That's my pick from the cider shed.
That's good.
Okay, that sounds incredible.
Yes. And then we have some awesome like comfort foods in the restaurant. We have some great salads in there. But if you like fried chicken, that's what we're really known for. So there'd be the opportunity to eat, an early dinner, grab, walk the farm a little bit, maybe do some pick your own, stroll the store you mentioned. We have lots of local products in our store, some great,
not
meats
lots
and honeys, and
not lots of local product, like literally boatloads of local product. It is incredible. If you need, we're gonna dig into that in a minute. But
okay, good.
So the before and after experience. Are you doing picnics or any sort of like you can grab your food and
you can get all kinds of things from our deli too, and sit out. There's lots of seating around, outdoor seating around the farm. So lots of opportunities for that.
Can you tell I'm planning a night?
Yes, you're planning night.
I'm planning a girls' night right now in my head.
You probably need both family night and girls' night.
Yes,
100%. Yeah.
But I love that. I love that it's multifunctional and that there's a little something for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that because you aren't just families. You are, obviously it's a huge part of it, but there's reasons to keep coming back even after your kids get older.
Yeah. So we had a long talk about this a couple of years ago because our motto is creating family memories. And so I'd love to share with you what that means to us.
Yeah.
Because we had a big debate about it.
Oh,
I love
do
that.
that.
Let's dig into that after this commercial break.
2.0.
Now, as you sports fans know,
it's really getting out of hand, man. It's blown way out of control.
With Cam Jansen.
I'm going to lead you down the path that rocks.
And Jimmy the Cat Hayes.
first, before we get back with Angie, I want to remind everybody that you can find us at luinfo.com. We are also available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And if you really like us, follow us on Instagram at CoFoundHers. It's CoFoundHers. And if you're listening live, only if you're listening live, we do have a live text line. If you have pressing questions that you want to ask Angela or I or Angie Eckert, 314-590-3770. So now we're going to go back to Angie. She left us with this cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So let's dig into that.
Yeah.
Really, we were talking about family and kind of, I'm going to let Angie take it.
Yeah,
take it away.
Absolutely. So I was just saying,
our
mission is creating family memories, and we were just debating, like, is that too narrow? And should it be something different, like country memories, or what should it be, or just creating memories?
Mm-hmm.
But we got back to, like, family is who you love,
right?
It's who you love. It doesn't have to be blood. It doesn't have, you don't have to have known them that long. It's just who's in your life right now that you love and you want to share an experience with. So we kind of came back around that, families people who love each other and want to spend the day together. So
that's awesome.
It's such a simple concept too. And it's so interesting. We've taught our kids from the beginning, because we have very close family friends that we call family. They're aunties and uncles. And
for sure.
This is how we roll. I mean, we pick some of our family, and some of our family is picked for us.
Right.
And my kids grew up that way, and it's not quite instilled in every family yet, but I do see it kind of trending that way, that people are starting to kind of see that as their family.
Like, right. And I think initially, beyond. I don't know, growing up in my era, you always thought a family was a certain way.
Correct.
And so I think, like, just realizing that's evolved and it's redefined now, and it's two friends can be family.
Yeah,
it's
important.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, and when I think about your business too, it's also from a business perspective, family is very smart, because everyone has a family.
Right.
And, you always kind of hear, like, the best businesses are, delivering babies or running a funeral home. Everybody's going to be born and everybody's going to be
I think I'll stick with what I got.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know. And that sounds negative, but it's true. It's residual business. There's new families every single year, and then those families are long-term and they stick with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Right. Well, so you're kind of living out one of my dreams.
Okay. I'm gonna work on this for you.
Yeah. I really need you to work on this. So my dream, and it's so funny, I fantasize about being on a farm and having, a little lake and having that farm experience. Tell us about that, because you guys are living on the
your dog
farm.
will jump into your lake 10 minutes before you need to be somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And the alarm company will call you at 1 a.m. No, just kidding. These do happen. And I mean, there are responsibilities, and it is just from a personal level can be challenging to get away, to have your downtime. Yeah. So Chris and I have worked on a method for that has been helpful for us.
Tell us what that method is.
Well, it entails, like, getting away off the property, which is hard because you feel responsible. But we will sometimes go to the Kentucky farm and get a little breather from, being in the middle, because our house is right in the middle of the Beltwell farm. And all the tractors go by our house. And so you're like, what's going on? What happened? Why is that, why does that tractor sound like that? What's, all this stuff. So, and then we also love staycations in St. Louis. So we'll pop over here, stay at a hotel just to have a breather. And so all that's been really good for us, like just for our personal relationship. But truthfully, I do love, I grew up kind of in a house that was in the woods and playing in the dirt and all those things. But, living on a farm is truly an amazing experience. I did just drive home and grab a peach off the tree and go home and make a peach pie with peach I just picked, and it was so ripe and awesome. And so there's some amazing things like that. Last night I drove down to the High Tunnel and picked some tomatoes for our dinner. Right. So, I am a little spoiled like that. I grabbed a couple pumpkins on the way because I thought, well, it's not too early for pumpkins. I'm going to put a little pumpkin on my porch. So we have these really pretty white pumpkins that we're growing. Not too many are ready yet, but I found one and I put that on my little bench outside our front yard. So, so yes, there are some beautiful things about it, and just appreciating. You mentioned Mother Nature earlier, and just how brutal that can be. The last couple of weeks have been so hard on our staff and our plants. Not all of our crops are irrigated, so you find yourself just like praying that it's going to rain or get cooler so the pumpkins stop wilting.
Right.
But truly, it is an awesome experience to live amongst that and appreciate that we grow and can grow these crops in Illinois in the soil that has been owned and taken care of for many generations. None of us take that lightly.
And I love that. And thank you for saying all that, because honestly, I think that that's what kind of draws me to that lifestyle, is that really is, it's not that your lifestyle is simple, but it really is a reminder of how strong and how connected we are to this earth. And sustainability is important. All these things that we take for granted could go away tomorrow. And we've got to really be, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to get on my soapbox, but you know,
I love it.
It's very important. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, you know, my goal is to be able to survive if everything shuts down. Like, that's always been my goal.
I think I'd be able to survive like 2 days.
Angela's laughing and rolling her eyes at me.
What's the term for that? Or
off the grid.
Off the grid. But
I'm a prepper.
A prepper.
That's
okay,
That's it. A prepper.
You have the one in your basement and all that.
I do not, but I do know how to purify water.
Oh, okay.
So I have the knowledge of certain things. I don't think I could ever kill an animal, so I would have to be vegetarian for sure.
Yeah.
But my goal is, you know, we should be able to grow. We should know how the earth works. We should know how plants grow. We should understand those basic things. And I think
it's hard though, because not everybody has the opportunity, and that also is not lost on us. That, you know, this was given to us through generations of hard work. And so with that comes a responsibility to handle it carefully. And like you mentioned, sustainability, like make sure we're not overutilizing soils. We do a lot of crop rotation. We do a lot of practices to prevent erosion, and very careful selection of controls of diseases. We participate in a lot of research to come up with apples. I brought one of them today called Sweet Maya. That's also the name of my puppy, Maya, who's not always sweet, by the way. She's sometimes spicy. But so this is a program where we participate with a lot of other growers, testing apple varieties that will be more resilient to the humidity of the Midwest, because, you know, New York and Washington State are big apple growing regions, but they don't have the humidity like we have. So anyway, just really making sure we're tuned into that. And, you know, for those people that maybe cannot afford to grow their own or don't have the right spaces, because let's face it, not all the soils are going to allow you to grow your own. We want to be the place they come to see where an apple grows on a tree, a peach, a blackberry, a strawberry. They know strawberries grow on a plant, not a tree, and, you know, all that. So we hope that that's a way people can connect with agriculture if they don't have that opportunity in the space that they're in.
And that's so important, because so many of us are, even if we just live in a suburb, we're still not connected to the soil. I mean, I love what you're saying, because you feel like connected to the earth, like you were saying. It's like there's this innate part of us that that's how it used to be. And it is getting to the point where it's very rare for someone to be able to have that experience. So to be able to provide it on your home and your land, it's got to be so fulfilling.
It's a gift. Yeah. Well, and I know you do a lot of school outreach and that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about your community outreach and that sort of thing, how you get out to the community.
So Eckert's has been doing school tours for, gosh, I'm sure 40 years, you know, because I went on them.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say how old I am, but anyway, so I think that's a big part of how a lot of schools experience apple picking and a farm experience, and hopefully fun too. So they have both memories, you know, along that. So that's probably the biggest way that we connect with students. But, you know, the Eckert family has been involved in community support for generations. Like Chris's grandfathers have served on every board. We've served on University of Illinois boards. We've served on chamber boards, hospital boards. I currently volunteer for something called CASA. So there's a lot of ways that we try to stay engaged. We feel very proud of the community that we're in Belleville. because we've been there a long time, there's a lot of other family businesses there, and we have some great affordable housing options for young families. And so we want to see the community thrive. So it's always our goal to support that community directly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next phase for agriculture? Like, knowing what you know, I think, again, I said I have 1,000 questions. I do. I'm not going to ask them all on this show. However,
I'll just have to come back.
Yes,
I know.
I think that, it's so interesting to me where we're kind of seeing weather go.
So I would say the two things are extreme weather. I don't want to get political in either of these because it just gets all confusing.
Yeah.
But matter of factly, we can say that the weather is more erratic or tumultuous. I mean, you can see that if you look at weather data, even if you think the news is, hyped, you can still go back to records and see it's been, one of the hotter summers on record. We had more rain in May and June. So yes, that affects the crops.
Right.
It also affects the workers and it affects the traffic count because, on Tuesday, that was like the last super hot day of a 5 to 10 day stretch. It was so quiet at Eckert's because people are just like, I'm so done. And then yesterday it was crazy, because people are finally like, yay. So it does affect foot traffic, which when, ripening fruit doesn't pay attention to that.
Yes.
So, it is a little bit of a challenge for what are we going to do with this fruit if people don't come and, whatever. And then our staff, I mean, they're out driving tractors and picking fruit when it's 119 heat index. That's hard. And then, like I mentioned, the pumpkins, they're pretty resilient, but they would start to kind of wilt. So now there was like more dew and they're cooler. So you can just tell they're happier leaves when I drive down my driveway. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it. The other thing is labor. And we do rely on workforce that is part of the H-2A program, which is a visa program.
Yeah.
It is not people who want to immigrate here. They want to go home to their families.
Yeah.
So
it's a great program.
Yeah, it's really, I say without those 60 people, I would not have 370 other jobs.
Yes.
Because they do a lot of the hand labor, and which is pruning, picking in the heat of the day. Last week they had some 12-hour picking days. I mean, it's intense.
Yeah.
But these guys, they want to pick produce, work hard here, and go back to their families.
Right.
They're very family-centered people as well. Some of them have been with us for up to 30 years. So there's a lot of skill as well as, our extended family. And they want to go home and see their families and then come back the next season. So they're not trying to immigrate.
Yeah.
But,
It's pretty awesome.
But that cost is going up as well as just certain labor costs you can see in other industries rising. So we're trying to, our desire is to pay the people we have more and, try to be more efficient in labor so that we're not like, we're not struggling to service the customer, but maybe being more creative about how we do it.
Do you see crops kind of shifting into other, do you ever see yourself moving into other types of crops or shrinking what's the genesis of?
I think a lot of it is, it's a big issue based on the specific product.
Right.
What is because fruit kind of has a cap. It's not like you can charge $10 for an apple. We all have a perceived price.
Right. Nor do you want to.
So there are some barriers to certain crops. And I would say currently we're reducing some apple acreage. We are not wholesaling apples anymore. All the apples that we grow are going to be sold at Eckert's or used into apple cider.
Okay.
We are still wholesaling Eckert's peaches, and we hope to continue to do that. That's a goal. But if costs go up, there will have to be some different considerations made.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't think that people actually realize how complicated your job is.
Well, I think it just requires a lot of planning, and sometimes you don't have the answers. That's the hard part is so an apple tree, we're booking trees, and you work with a nursery that grafts two pieces of apple tree together because it's two pieces. There's a root piece. And then the top part of the tree is the variety. So you might have a rootstock that is hardy for our region. And then the top of the tree will be the Sweet Maya or the Jonathan or Fuji or whatever it is. So we're booking those trees 3 years out because they're growing a little, a young sapling type of tree. And then it's going to come to us 3 years later. So we're trying to decide where are we going to, not only where are we going to plant them, what varieties are going to be popular. And then it takes another 3 years once it's in the ground. So
for them to produce,
to predict some of this stuff is really tough. We didn't know that Honeycrisp would be so popular. And it's not really a great variety for us to grow because it doesn't like humidity. So we're looking for other varieties. But what are those? What are going to keep?
But still,
So it's a little bit of a gamble, in that regard. So
well, and you brought up a good point of the, we have an apple tree in our yard. And it took a good 7-8 years before it produced anything. Now it's crazy. Like it is bananas. I mean, apples everywhere. I have so many apples right now.
Good.
The chickens come over and get the apples that fall from the tree. But it is it's a wild planting and farming and all that. It's just such a
lot of planning. And we don't, we want to rest the soil between replanting. So there's usually, a cover crop type situation. We want to look at it, see if it needs to be re-terraced to prevent erosion. So there's a lot of decision making on this, and like it's kind of like the farm as a puzzle. Like, well, if we put this here, if we put the Christmas trees there, then where is that going to go? And da. And so with Jack's, we wanted to put in this path that could be more permanent, and we're thinking like if we put that in, what's that going to be the rest of the year? So we are excited that this spring we're going to have a tulip trail.
Oh my God.
Through the tulips.
I know. So that's super awesome. But we're always thinking about like, okay, if we put this in, we don't want to let it sit idle. And it needs to be something that, can rest the ground or do something fun or whatever.
Right.
So. It's so fascinating how you have to think about the business from not only the scientific part of it, but the business side of it, and just and to your point, the planning of it, just to plan years out in advance.
Well, right now we're going to the 8th generation. Like, well, what do you guys want to be doing? In 6 years, we'll be not stepping out, but it does get, for 25 years, we were deciding what we want to do, the 7th generation leadership team. And now we're like saying, okay, we need to ask them, they're going to be here managing this business. What are they excited about? So
what are they excited about?
Well, they were super excited about the cider shed and that concept. And also the trail, Jack's lighted trail. My nephew's name is Jack too.
I love that.
But it's kind of for jack-o'-lantern as well. And the tulips. And so we go to some conferences, and we definitely go to a lot of things revolving around peach and apple growing, horticulturally based. But we also go to some direct marketing conferences for people like us. And that has been an awesome group for us because people idea share what's been successful for them. And a lot of them are doing similar things, these lighted trails and kind of more entertainment based. And they're maybe reducing some of the farming aspects of their business. But that is really hard for us as a family. We love growing things. And so to think about reducing crops, it's kind of
it's like a dagger.
Yeah, it is a dagger to the heart, but it's getting so expensive. So we're just trying to debate, how can we do both?
Right.
How can we stay and, keep both feet in the water there? But always contemplating, always thinking.
It's got to be great though, having that 8th generation coming in, because Angela and I also share that, we have younger people that work for us and work with us, and they really, it is different. Their needs are different. What they expect and where they see things going is so different. And it's
the perspective is really great. I think it's really great because
it really is.
I remember thinking, I don't want to get to the point where I'm irrelevant or like not welcoming in the change. And, you guys have kids too, but my kids are 18 and 21. And I think it's really important to see what they're looking at, what resonates with them. I want to be in tune with that because that's the next customer for Eckert. So, how do we key into that market as well, but also not let them get too disconnected from agriculture.
Yeah,
so if we make it a little fun and we have enough selfies, they might come out and pick apples. So we did participate in this program with WashU, which was awesome. And some students gave us some ideas. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Wow, those students were so sharp and so fun. It was eye-opening. And it also reinforced a few things that we were considering already, which was really good. Like it gave us the confidence that like, okay, we're on the right track.
I think it's important for people to remember this next generation, our Ryans and our Elis and our Remys. These are they're going to change everything. They're the change makers right now. And we have to listen to them and respect their opinions and respect what they're saying. Like they're smart.
Well, there's no way that we're all going to be successful if we don't, because you're right. You get to a point where you kind of tap out a little bit and aren't as much in the loop.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier before we went on air about fashion. So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, it really is important for us to hear them and see them. And they're going to be telling us what to wear and what to eat and what to do. And what, like we need to listen to that. Anyway,
I think it's just part of a healthy community is respect across the generations. I mean, that's something, we've lived in our business is, respecting.
Sounds like it's part of
various
your culture.
Generations. Yeah, definitely part of the culture is like just hear everyone out. And make sure everybody's comfortable before you leap. And that's just been ingrained in our culture, obviously way before I was involved. But I like that too. It also gives you a comfort that like if you do something and it doesn't work out, everybody's like, dang. Nobody's like, well, why did you do that? That's not our culture. So I feel like that should be more of an overarching theme of like, what do you guys see? Why are we saying these things about certain generations? Like, let's stop stereotyping and just say like, this is how people are. And let's figure out how to work together. Because I am excited about the creative thinking and all of that is coming up.
I
love that.
It's so true. The United States does have an age thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
I was just watching this thing about Japan and the fact that because of the older generations that live there, they all have less stress in their lives because of the respect.
We need that. We need less stress.
We totally do.
Oh
we totally do.
Well, speaking of stress, we've got about maybe about 30 seconds left. Let's do a couple rapid fire questions. Okay. This is Angela's favorite time of the day.
It is my favorite time.
We may only get like one or two questions because we have a hard out in 1 minute.
Okay. All right. Apples or pumpkins? Your favorite?
Both. Well, you can't eat pumpkins as easily, so I'll say apples. And I did name my dog after an apple.
Okay. Early mornings or late nights?
Ooh, definitely mornings. Ask my daughter.
Okay. Coffee or tea during the busy season?
Oh, well.
Or hot chocolate or hot cider.
Yeah, I think hard cider.
Okay.
But only after the day.
Favorite quiet spot on the farm?
Oh gosh, my yard. I call it my green wall. I've planted a lot of trees and then I have the orchard in the background. It's so pretty.
Beautiful. And last one word to describe life in a family business.
Ever changing.
I love that.
Love that.
Yep.
Oh, well, good. This has been a delight. Thank you
and it
so
went
much.
Too fast. I still have 1,000 questions.
You'll have to.
So we're going to have Angie back.
Email me.
Yes. We're going to have Angie back, and she's going to coach me into my farm life.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know where to find Eckert's,
Eckerts.com. It's ECKERTS.com or JackSlightedTrail.com.
Yeah. You'll find me at Jack Slighted Trail. So I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
We're super excited. Thank you so much for being with us
Angie.
Today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, St. Louis. We'll talk with you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You've been strong for everyone.